Hello everybody, I hope you're well. Now in today's video, Clyde Sutton Sensei from Aikido Musubi-ryu here in Hamilton, New Zealand, takes us through some Kokyunage drills from a two-handed grab from ryote tori. Now normally with Kokyunage, it's done on the move and it's more about the flow and the connection. But Clyde breaks this down and looks into the biomechanics of how these actually work, which I think is really interesting. Also, I like the fact that he grabbed the biggest person in the room. Hope you enjoy this. If you do, smash everything below and thank you for watching.
Okay, let's try this with Liam. It probably won't work because he's so tall. Two-hand. So Diane was just saying we should probably look at some of these. They're Tenshi Kokyunage. You know what Tenshi looks like. So Tenshi is one hand up, one hand down. Okay. The Tenshi Kokyunage, there's a whole series of these movements that basically allow me to do things to his body. And while I'm doing that, I'm offline, goes through underneath, back there, and it's a horrible break fall if I hold on to that one because he falls on that elbow and dislocates his shoulder when the elbow pushes up. So do let go the bottom hand if that makes sense. Okay, so it's, see that shoulder? That's what's happening to the far shoulder. Sorry, we'll come over here. And while that's happening, I'm into this position here and behind him. Again, they're not highly martial movements necessarily, but they're entertaining parts of the old style Aikido. Around, turn, into there. Now I've got his collar if I want as he goes down. Yes. From this angle as well?
It's fine.
Which arm did I do last time? Oh, well, that'll... Yeah. Okay, if that's what... Let's have it this way. Swap feet. Why do I go to the side of the front foot? Question?
Take the balance.
Yeah, it is definitely to take the balance, but why to the front foot? Not because it's weight forward. Not, well, yeah, I've got it, because it takes me a lot more time to get behind that one, and it takes me 2 movements of my feet. Okay, so I can do that in a single movement. Didn't quite get over his head that time because I was thinking of my feet, but there's a reason we're looking at that front foot, is because it allows me to do that in a single movement, and that's the reason. With partners, please. Thanks. Okay, so that one really favoured a tall person. Okay, the next one kind of favours a shorter person. So I'll grab you again, Leo. Sorry. Old age again. So again, it's Tenshi Kokyu. So I'm moving to the side. One hand's going down, turning, and this is really crucial. This position here where my arm is at right angles to the plane of my body, okay? Because if it's slightly there and I start to put weight on it, I'm going to lose that top shoulder. So I want that position, okay? It is a step forward and kneel. Okay. And it doesn't matter if he gets the other hand or not, but it's quite nice to just get reasonably strong, okay? If I push into him, I've got trouble. If I take that one out and down, again, see both of those pushing in is pushing into his feet. I want that one doing that, and I want that one doing that. So there's off balances in 2 different directions, which makes it quite interesting. On with you, please, Liam. Sorry. Now for every... So anyway, back in the day, O-sensei came up with hundreds of these flying techniques. And the problem is, whatever he was feeling like on the day, he would do something, and they'd get the camera out and they'd say, "Sensei, do that again, please." And he never would. You know, if you missed it, you missed it. And also he'd say, "But my uke was moving differently." I wouldn't do that. And that's a big part of the problem. That they say Aikido is choreographed, 100% correct. Of course it's choreographed, because you have to do the same movement thousands and thousands of times if you want to make it a martial movement. I mean, isn't it a choreographed movement to keep punching the bag? Okay, it's a choreographed movement, of course it is. So what's wrong with choreographed movements? You do them all the time for every martial art, but you've got to understand that that is not combat. That's all, okay? They're choreographed movements because they teach you something about moving in coordination with another person and maintaining your balance. So, you know, when people say Aikido is choreographed movements, they are 100% correct because every martial art does them. But don't pretend it's combat, it's not. So, this is the fun part. Okay, so I'm moving away from him with both hands, and then at some stage, we will just do that movement we just did. Okay, and I'm going to the arm I am moving first to. Does that make sense? I'm moving to his left arm. That is the arm I'm going under. It's hard to see, isn't it? So as he comes in, he's going to push me back. Keep coming, keep coming. So I'm going to move to one arm and go under it. This time it's going to be that arm I move towards, and it's still that arm I go under. Okay? So at some stage, I don't want to be caught where I'm being pushed back and having to do this movement from running back. Okay? Because I don't have control of his body. What I want to do is be to the side as he catches my hand. So I leave my hands there and move. Okay? So that one we'll do in groups because it needs a lot of space. Onegaishimasu. Okay, so we've got two-hand grab here. Now, again, I want to work to the side of the forward foot, and I'm going to do a similar thing that we did to the beginning. You remember that we did the beginning of that movement there? Okay. Except I want this movement coming towards my body this time and then back across the front of his body. Okay. And again, you see people do these wonderful, lovely movements. Okay. Nothing's affected his balance yet. And to be honest, drop your shoulder and drop your elbow, and because he's a lot stronger than me. So it has to be a circle around that shoulder. And for that circle to happen with me in appropriate position, okay, we'll start from completely static. And I want you to start from static. You need to be, okay, so for a start, it's not easy for me to get that turn under there, okay? But if I pull his arm down and then up, that's what happens. So by coming down, I create the space for that movement there. And he's off balance already, but I push back into his body, he stands up again. So I have got to be looking at what is the distance that keeps that shoulder low and turning. Okay, so, and get reasonably strong, so I have to use a bit of body mechanics to get the arm through. So I can't do it with my arm, I use that pull and then get that through. He's still reasonably on balance, but it doesn't really matter. I've got a yonkyo into that forearm, amongst other things. But if I was in this position, I'd be moving my body slightly away from his feet, so he's starting to tip that way as I'm throwing him that way. Does that make sense? What I want to be looking at now is back, we were doing ki no nagare, so flowing ki. For that last one, I want to do the same thing here. Okay, this time I want to pick up that last arm, and I am moving backwards. Yes, I am. I'm well aware of that, and the reason is I want to keep that front arm lengthened. Okay, so start again, and it has to be a moving technique. Okay, and I want to keep his hands low. Okay, and then it starts to make a little bit more martial sense in terms of there is another form that pushes underneath, takes his arm, and if I was strong enough compared to his body weight, that one would be either a full koshi or right over the shoulder if we can get that. Which is what these things were aiming for. Crossing, underneath, hold, over the top. However, we may as well show the variation I want before. Notice I lead slightly. Now, I know they say choreographed, but still I need a little bit of that length to make it happen, or a little bit of lead. There's an underneath rather than over the top. You can do either.